Alrighty, this is a video, just a continuation of a investigation to determine the source of noise on this oscilloscope. I'm using a Digilent Electronics Explorer board, which has a 4-channel oscilloscope, and there's a minimum level or base level of noise that I just can't get rid of. Turns out it's just 60 cycle noise coming from the 60 hertz power supply. It's all around us in the United States. This is looking at channel 1, which is currently connected to this scope probe that I've made with a shielded cable. And I've got the tip of it shorted out. And then it's into channel 1. And if we look at this and I just do a single grab, and you can count the peaks here. From 0, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6. And that's from 0 to 100 milliseconds, which is a tenth of a second. 6 divided by a tenth of a second, 60 hertz. If we look at channel 2, which has nothing plugged into it. Oh, and by the way, the peak to peak there is about 5 millivolts on channel 1. Looking at channel 2, I'll just do a single shot there. Same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's 60 hertz noise. And in that case, it's about 11 millivolts peak to peak. Channel 2 has nothing plugged into it. So we have no probes and, nothing grounding across the input to output, as in the case of the shielded cable. And then I've got this just simple twisted pair shorted out there in channel 3 and channel 4. And this is a tightly twisted pair into channel 4, just a solid piece of wire there that's shorted at the top. Those all look the same as channel 1. I won't bore you by going through that. So if you've got any kind of a probe that's connected in there, you get about the same 5 millivolts peak to peak. If you leave the channel completely open, not shorted out, you get 11 or 12. Everything that's happening is at 60 hertz. One of the things I can do is disconnect the power into the computer and see what that does, because the computer is connected to the Electronics Explorer board, so it's another possible source of noise. And that doesn't seem to help. Still running it. It's showing at 13 actually millivolts peak to peak in channel 2. So it's certainly no better by disconnecting the Mac. The other idea is to unplug the Electronics Explorer from the wall wart and power it from a battery instead. And that'll be interesting to see. So I'll turn that off, disconnect, reconnect it with a nice quiet battery. Get that in there, turn it back on. It's reconnecting. There we go. And run a single. Sure enough. And now we've got channel 2, 8 millivolts peak to peak. Still, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's still 60 hertz noise. So it's just coming from the environment. And if I shut one more light off that's in the room, we got all the lights off basically. This doesn't seem to make any difference. No, doesn't really make any difference. Going back to channel 1, which is the grounded shielded cable, and running a single on that. And now we're down to, well, it's 5 millivolts peak to peak. I think that's the absolute minimum for this system. I mean, unless I was to run this thing maybe outdoors somewhere where there's no source of 60 hertz noise, that would be kind of an interesting experiment. Maybe I'll do that at one point. But I think we've tracked it down. The noise is just coming from the environment. We have 60 hertz power all around us in the walls and so forth, and the Electronics Explorer board is picking that up. So between 5 and maybe 12 millivolts peak to peak is the level of noise that you're going to get out of this system as a base minimum noise. Alrighty, thanks for watching.